All right, today we are here with Denise, Garth, Chief Strategy Officer at Modesto. Welcome, Denise.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, it's always exciting to talk strategy and marketing and kind of get a sense for finger on the pulse what's happening in other organizations. So thrilled to get the chance to chat today.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's jump in. With all this change and increased competition, how do you build brand loyalty in an environment like this?
Really great question. I think, everybody's kind of experimenting in a few different things. But I think at the end of the day, brand is going to be built upon three different aspects. In the past, we've always thought about the product as the risk product as an industry. And that risk product was always based upon the value that you could give to the customer to make sure that when they had a claim, they'd be able to pay the claim. Were you an AM Best, A+ rated company? Did you have the financials behind it? It's really moved beyond that. And today that product that you're selling is not just the risk product, but it's also the experience that they have, as well as the value-added services that you might get along with that product. And so where can we have claims that have straight-through processing that are very simple? We could just get it done, and it's really a value-added services. And then you've got the complex claims that are just going to take more time. But doesn't mean that you can't do things digitally. Can the customer provide a video of the damage? Can they provide photos? How can you kind of engage with them a little bit different? And then the value-added services. What can we do to make sure that we help them to mitigate the risk? How can we help them avoid having a claim? And so those are where some of the value-added services come in, is that we're providing more value because they don't want to have their asset damaged. They want to be able to continue to use that asset and make sure that it's, retains its value. And that's the type of thing that customers are really looking for. They want their lives to be made easier. They want to look at things a little bit more holistically. And it offers insurers an opportunity to engage on a more frequent basis than they do today whenever you're paying for your policy or you're submitting a claim. Not exactly the two best opportunities to kind of engage with a customer. The others offer much greater opportunity to have a really positive kind of relationship, but really build that brand loyalty.
I love that. Really expanding the value chain to have positive interactions. I think so many of the challenges we face in insurance when it comes to insureds is that communicating the value of what we do. It's something that, as you mentioned, you touch when you pay for it or something bad happens. Not fun times, either of those touches. So I think taking peace of mind to the next level, being proactive, certainly adds a ton of value. And certainly to enable all of those pieces, as you mentioned, we're talking about partnerships. So how have partnerships, how have they evolved over the last 5-10 years in the industry?
So, they've continued to evolve in that, we've got a lot of partnerships in companies that are setting up affinity-based programs. You've got the Hartford as an example that does it with AARP, for different types of products. You've got other organizations doing it with other large businesses or associations. And so you've had the affinity and the program business, where you're trying to kind of provide products into certain unique segments, I guess, and unique relationships. But we're seeing the need to really expand that view about partnerships much beyond that, from just partnering with them that you're selling a product through them, or it might be white labeling, to saying, how could we actually embed the insurance into the purchase of another product?
Yeah, it really is a fundamental shift in the industry, right? Changing the value proposition, shifting it, and adding so much more value and changing the image of insurance itself, which is really exciting. And a key theme across all of these is sort of that digital approach, those touch points exactly when they're needed. And digital first is certainly a term you hear a lot when we're talking about these transformations. So how would you define digital first?
How I define digital first is that you've got to build it up. You build out the product and the experience based upon the customer. It's an outside-in perspective. As an industry, we've typically built it from an inside-out perspective based on all of our business assumptions that we've had for 50, 100 years. This is what this is how we price a product. This is what a product is. This is, this is the approach that we take it for this type of product. And I think that the InsurTechs, the MGA startups and the full stack insure startups have challenged some of that model. And as a result, they've kind of been innovative in some of the products that they've been defining. In some ways, they've been uncoupling a lot of products, because we kind of pulled all different kinds of writers and all kinds of aspects of a product together. And they're in many ways uncoupling it to kind of make it on demand, embed it within another purchase, all those different types of things that are more relevant to an individual. And that's where, a digital first kind of concept comes into play, which, by the way, is the reason we kind of called our digital platform Digital First, is because it's got to be able to create that kind of digital experience. And that, for partners like Bold Penguin, as an example, that many insurers have, being able to tie that into an ecosystem, that you can kind of tie Bold Penguin into that they can have access to the products that are available to be able to kind of do an initial quote and kind of introduce that. We've got to be able to think how you kind of bring this all in. So it's not just about capabilities and data, it's about other partners who can provide that distribution reach as well.
Right, and those seamless connections, those seamless integrations.
Yes.
That improve your workflows, don't create an additional hindrance to your workflow, certainly.
It just seems like it's just magic. It's kind of what, the big tech guys do. They make it look like it's magic.
Right.
And it just happens without you realizing everything that goes on behind the scenes.
Right. And oftentimes we think about, these transformations having a start and a finish, right? All right, we're going to go through a digital transformation and we'll be done. But obviously it's more of an ongoing process. So what advice do you have for organizations that are still in the trenches of these digital transformations?
To think that your systems are going to last for 10, 15, 20 years like they did in the past isn't going to be the case. You're going to have to be able to have partners that are providing solutions, technology solutions, or ecosystem partners that you're connecting in with, that are going to be forward thinking, that are going to keep out there on the edge at leveraging the different technologies that are emerging and how they're being adopted and how they're being used, and are going to be able to upgrade. Think about Apple. How easy is it to upgrade your phone?
Right.
How easy is it to upgrade all that stuff? We've got to get to that kind of a world that's how easy it is to upgrade. When we can actually do that for our technologies, then all of a sudden we can begin to bring in all the other things that we want, because that just becomes a way of dealing with it. But thinking that you're going to implement it once and then you don't have to think about it for another 15, 20 years, I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen, because we're going to go through some additional dramatic change, because we're just on the verge of millennials and Gen Zs becoming the dominant buyers in our marketplace. They have a whole different set of behaviors and needs. Their lifestyles are different. They may not own vehicles. They may be renting for a period of time. How are we going to create products for them? We have a lot of change ahead, and it's a great opportunity for growth. And it's such an exciting time that I think that we just need to find and embrace it, but you've got to be a leader.
Absolutely. The only constant is change. So if you're not leading, you probably won't be quickly following.
Yes, that's right. And it's going to cost you more money to try to catch up on top of it.
Yeah, great point. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today. Really enjoyed your insights, and here's to our combined digital future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and look forward to speaking again soon.
Thanks.